Chicago, Illinois. We're going to show you why this is one of the greatest cities in the world. Chicago is bursting with history and culture. Chicago's had to deal with adversity, crime, and tragedy, but has outlasted them to grow into a massive city of steel and concrete. It's a breathtaking collision of art, architecture, finance, industry, and most of all, people. All this makes Chicago the ultimate destination for any traveler. You want it, Chicago's got it. It was at this location in 1871 that a barn ignited and started the Great Chicago Fire. Wind turned the spark into a firestorm that lasted for 2 days and burned down a huge part of the city and left hundreds of thousands of people homeless. But a new identity and new opportunity were born out of the ashes. The rebuilding of this city at the turn of the century brought in hundreds of thousands of people from all over the world. The rebuilding also led to what makes Chicago instantly recognizable: its skyscrapers. Architects such as Frank Lloyd Wright and Louis Sullivan made Chicago the epicenter of modern building design. Their work and influence are seen around the world, but nowhere more than in this city. You might also recognize some famous movie locations. Chicago is famous for its food. The crew and I definitely took advantage of that on this trip. First stop, a Chicago hot dog.
No, we're on the corner.
Or maybe second stop. We also stopped by Mr. Beef on Orleans, home of the legendary Italian beef sandwich, and had a talk with Christopher Zucchero, who runs the place. Tell us about Mr. Beef.
Well, it was started in 1977 by my father, Joseph Zucchero, and his brother, Dominic Zucchero. Was taken over. It was actually an existing restaurant before that. It was called the Cozy Kitchen. They bought it from the gentleman that had it, and they were just starting to turn it into a beef stand. And my dad had his own recipe and stuff like that, so he was kind of asked to do it. He had this idea, and it kind of came together. Italian beef is like Chicago's root food. I know people think it's deep dish pizza and it's hot dogs, but truly, if you're a Chicagoan, you know, and if you come to Chicago, you know that Italian beef is truly the root food here. We had celebrities back at this restaurant, and there were only like maybe 5 at that time in the 70s and the 80s, and that person is Leno. And that's because when Leno started here in Chicago, what he would do is he would sleep in the parking lot. And then my father every day would come here, and he would always be sleeping in one of his antique cars at the time. Of course, he didn't have as many as he has now, Leno, but he would sleep in a drop top in the parking lot, so my dad kept running into him, and they kind of became friends. So then my father gave him a key and allowed him to sleep in the back. So every morning when he was getting up through doing Zanies and all the comedy shops in the Old Town area, he would come here about 4 o'clock, 4:30, sleep, and then when my father got here at 6 o'clock, they'd wake him up, he'd have his sandwiches, and then he would go about his day. And he promised my father, if I ever really make it big, I'm going to put you on the map. You wouldn't believe that Chicago has this to offer and that to offer, and they have this kind of cool stuff, and the arts are big here, and the bands that have come out here. I'm a big music fan, so to know some of the bands that have come out here that have been able to get big success. It's not like LA where there's communities of music people. Kind of have to stand on your own here.
What can people expect? They've never been to Chicago before. What can they expect when they come?
I think they would expect to see kind of like a dirty, rough city, and really when you come here and you go, wow, and you look back at it and you can see the skyline coming off the Kennedy Expressway, it really is beautiful. You see a lot of beauty, a lot of things to do, and a real clean city. If you come from here, I want to say, I've been to Philadelphia, and that's a city where a lot of those people have real strong conviction for it. We still have that feel of like Philadelphia, of a Baltimore, of a Pittsburgh, where people really do stand behind their city. I'm from Chicago, and I'm just proud of it. I was really I was born in this restaurant. I might as well be born in this restaurant. Lived here most of my life, have done everything most of my life here within this restaurant, and I was raised and I grew up and matured with this city and with customers and with this restaurant, with the attitude of Chicago. And I love this city, and I'm proud to be from it. I really am.
Today, Chicago is home to 3 million people. These people have each brought a piece of culture with them to become a part of what makes this city great. From beef sandwiches and hot dogs to deep dish pizza, from legendary art and sculptures to athletic superstars, Chicago has it all. It really is one of America's greatest comeback stories.